Hey VC students, my name's Andy, I'm a VC Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video we're going to look at common mistakes to avoid in Unit 3 AoS Study 2, number 4 and number 5. Before we dive into this video, just a reminder there's a range of different ways you can engage with the Health Resources Hub. We've got our YouTube channel, there's over 150 content videos, SAC and exam tips, and new videos are coming out each week during the school term this year. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe with the button in the bottom corner of the video there, or you can head to YouTube and just search for the Health Resources Hub. By subscribing, you get alerts to all of those new videos when they come out. You can also head to our website, hrh.net.au, where there's opportunities for teachers and students. And if you're a Unit 3 and 4 student, you can head to the website and scroll to the bottom of the page, and you'll see there's a free student newsletter registration form. So that's coming out twice a term this year with free SAC and exam resources for students. The most recent version just came out over a week ago, so if you sign up there, you'll get sent that the day you register. You can also see our social media links there if you'd like to follow us and get alerts to our new videos and other opportunities, and also our email if you'd like to get in touch. So what we're looking at in this video is common mistakes number 4 and 5 for Unit 3 AoS Study 2. We've done a previous video on common mistakes 1 to 3, so if you haven't had a look at that, please head and check that out. So you'll probably know by now that you need to learn some different programs as part of Unit 3 AoS Study 2. So a program or two on your target area of focus for this AoS study. So that's going to be either smoking, road safety, or skin cancer. And then 1 or 2 programs on initiatives that are designed to improve Indigenous Australians' health and well-being. So I say 1 or 2 programs because I typically recommend to my students that 2 is probably best for each of your focus and Indigenous Australians initiatives. And the reason that I say that is that you're supposed to be able to link these programs to action areas of the Ottawa Charter. And not many programs cover all 5 action areas. So if you know a couple of programs for each, you're likely to be able to cover more of those action areas if they come up in a particular question. And so the common mistake that students often make is they don't learn enough detail for whatever programs they're focusing on as part of this area of study. And so they might learn some general points about the program, but typically a program question is perhaps worth 3 marks and they don't know 3 clear, distinct things, okay, about the programs that they've learnt. So the easiest way to maybe look at this, okay, is to look at a question. And so you can see here this question is asking students to describe a program related to your chosen area of focus for Unit 3 AoS Study 2, and it's worth 3 marks. So the first sample answer there is focusing on the SunSmart program, which was related to skin cancer and sun safety. And so it says there it's involved in educating people about sun safety, and that people who take part in the program will learn about the risks of too much sun exposure and how it can lead to developing skin cancer. And it includes important messages such as to wear a hat and apply sunscreen regularly. But what you can hopefully see in that sample answer is that there's no real specific information about how the education happens or where they learn about these important messages. It's just very general. Whereas the next example, okay, down the bottom there, has some specific information. So you can see there it's focusing on media campaigns on TV and social media to educate people about the risks of UV exposure and the importance of slip, slop, slap, seek and slide. You can see then it focuses on a free SunSmart UV app, which can provide people with alerts each day, okay, to the levels of UV that's happening wherever they might be living, and free information sheets and posters that can be ordered to educate the public on UV risks, and they're available in a range of languages. So you can see that's more, okay, what you should be aiming for when thinking about describing a program, having at least 3 distinct sort of features that you're able to include as part of your description, and then obviously you should be able to link, okay, aspects of that program to action areas of the Ottawa Charter as well, which could be like a subsequent or follow-up question to a question like this. So make sure you go back and have a look at what you've learned for your particular programs and think about, can you see sort of 3 clear or distinct things that make what you've learned, okay, a program. Now, the next common mistake to avoid is related to the dietary guidelines. And so students often don't link to specific dietary guidelines when it's asked for in a question. And so you can expect to have to make links between these dietary guidelines, and remember there are 5 of them, and how they could reduce the risks of developing diet-related health conditions such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, or cardiovascular disease. And so once again, students often just generally refer to the dietary guidelines without making specific specific links to specific guidelines. And so you need to make sure that you know key phrases, okay, or essentially what those guidelines are. So let's have a look once again at a question to help give you a sense of what I mean here. And so the question could be, outline how the dietary guidelines can help to reduce the prevalence of obesity in Australia. So the first sample there, without a specific link to a guideline, is just saying that if people follow the dietary guidelines, they're likely to eat a healthier diet, which might reduce their risk of weight gain because they might eat more vegetables instead of energy-dense foods, and that can help to reduce the prevalence of obesity. So once again, that generally, is an okay answer, but there's no specific link, to the knowledge that you should be demonstrating about a guideline you've learnt. Whereas the better alternative down the bottom there starts by saying guideline 3 states, limit the intake of foods containing saturated fat, added salt, added sugar, and alcohol. And then if people follow that guideline and reduce their added sugar and saturated fat intake, both of which are energy dense, that can help to reduce the risk of weight gain and developing obesity, and therefore help reduce the prevalence of obesity in Australia. So you can see, that better alternative is really demonstrating the clear knowledge that a student has learnt the specific guidelines instead of just saying something general, about what the dietary guidelines relate to. So make sure that you go back and you learn those specific phrases, for each of those guidelines, so that if you use them in a question, you can be specific and be confident that you're more likely to obtain the marks for that particular question. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. We do have an opportunity coming up for preparing students for the extended response question in HHD. So that's going to be running online on June 6th from 5 till 6:15 p.m. And so the extended response question, often comes up in SACs, especially in the second half of the year, but also definitely the exam at the end of the year. So we're focusing on 8 to 10 mark questions here. And so this session is designed to help you to approach these questions, because these are the questions students often find most challenging and are the lowest scoring often for students in SACs and the exam at the end of the year. So by registering for this session, you'll get sent a couple of practice extended response questions to complete prior to this session. And then during the session, I'll go through, some advice on how to analyze and link sources, break down the question, and approach structuring and writing your answer, as well as going through the sample answers to those practice extended response questions, and you'll get sent some additional ones following the session. So you can head to that link, up in the corner here, or just head to our website and there's a link there to register. So hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks so much.